So hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be looking at procedural textures. And the procedural textures are cool. Why? Well, you can animate them, you can change them, you can uh, melt them, you can do whatever you want to do with procedural textures. It is just really easy to do it inside Blender, and this thing using the shader editor and learning to use shader editor inside Blender can help you use any other shader editor inside Unreal Engine, maybe Unity, and many other softwares too. I use a Blender shader editor to make procedural textures, and then I bake them on top of the objects. Why do I bake them? Well, baking helps save computation times. Procedural textures, they take a very long time to compute, and if you have a bunch of these textures, procedural textures lying on top of your objects, and it's a huge scene with only procedural textures, I'm pretty sure that one frame is gonna be taking like more than uh, like an hour to render because of just the amount of calculation. Let's just hop into the basic masks that we are going to be using inside Blender. So there are four basic masks, and ignore this guy. This is just to show how better it works. But let's start with the edge mask. Okay, so let's just mute everything else because you might be scared by looking at this colorful uh, thing. Like you don't need to know that what's happening. So let's just start with the basic bevel. What it does is that it blurs the normals. Okay, it just blurs the normals, it mixes two normals. So for example, if you just take a look at just the basic normal, okay, it's extremely sharp. So what it does is that it blurs two normals together, and that is what we see. You can see the black and the blue is mixing, the red and the blue is mixing, the black and blue, black and the red is mixing. What we do is that we take the distance between both of them, and we are somewhat subtracting, and we are changing the vector value to float value. And float meaning that there are only two values as you're gonna see, and that's black and white. And when you have these black and white, this is just the edge mask. This is what you see when you bake or like bake maps inside Substance Painter. You might see like the curvature. This is curvature. It it calculates, and the cool thing about procedural textures is that you don't need to like be like do it manually. You can just like if you model it, you can see changes with that. The cool thing again is that if it works on mostly any model. If I just take monkey, if I add my textures, you can see that it's being calculated in just a fraction of a second. Uh, Now this is the same thing as the curvature map inside Substance Painter, and you can do that pretty easily, right? So now if I just let me just delete this guy, okay. So that is just edge for you, like just bevel and normal from texture coordinate or geometry coordinate or geometry. I have used geometry over here, but that doesn't make it like doesn't make a difference because both of them are normals, right? So it shouldn't make a huge difference. So you have distance and you plug it into any type of color, you can color it, and that's how you get the basic edge mask. Okay, and with this help edge mask, you can like do all sorts of cool things. And let's now go to the other ones, and those are going to be the ambient occlusion. Now this is a really important one because you can change a lot of things about it. So you can just go over. You guys can see that we get this purple or pinkish, pink gray shadows. These help sell the point of aging. So for example, if you have a really old piece of metal, go around your house, find like a chunk of metal maybe lying around or like some sort of utensil, and observe that if it has a rim, okay, if it has a rim, it might have gotten darker because of rusting. Because whenever we wash or whenever we have contact with a metal, we usually don't go into these cracks and crevices to clean it, right? So what happens is that rust can accumulate on these edges, the inside edges, and that's how you can do it. Of course, you can tweak them. Again, you can change the samples. The more samples you have, more sharp rate you get. You can change the distance on how sharp you want, or how much distance between these corners that they are going to interact with. Again, if you want no objects to interfere with them, you can change that to, for example, over here, this object is there. Because I've set this thing on local, it won't react with the spear. And if I turn on local, you can see that it interacts with the objects, and it, of course, it's dynamic, so it changes with the object moving, right? So that is how ambient occlusion works. Okay, it's pretty simple. It's not too complex. Just ambient occlusion and a color ramp. If you don't use a color ramp, you won't see much. If you just want to have like an intense like ambient occlusion, you can use that. Uh, Next, we are going to be talking about bevel. Like I showed you on the edge mask. On this over here, I showed you how bevel is used to find out the edges. Over here, I'm gonna show you how bevel can be cool. So over here, I'm not using any type of geometry right now. I have not beveled them. You can see that there's a single edge over here. There's no topology. There's no extra polygons. But the way that I'm handling this is using a bevel node. It's really helpful. And this, okay, so all of this only works in Cycle, and I'm gonna be making another video for the EV people who wants to do procedural texturing inside EV. Okay, so don't be afraid. Okay, this is for the Cycle people, and Cycles offer more procedural capabilities. If you want to do it inside EV, it's still possible, but of course, the node system is going to be changed a little bit. But yeah, it's not going to be a huge difference. Okay, so this is how the bevel works. You just plug it the normal. You don't even need the normal because by default, bevel is selecting the normals on the uh, objects. Right? You don't need this, but you can just use bevel and connect it into your normals, and then you will get nice bevel shading. Next, we will be talking about my secret to doing dust, to doing grass, to doing mountains, to doing almost anything, and adding on one more layer of proceduralism, and that is this. It only works with this. So we have this normal, just type in normal. So if you have over here, you say normal, then you will get this thing. Okay, so don't worry about it. So when you plug this thing into the normals, of course normals go into normals, and don't use normals, then you'll get some type of colors. We don't need that. We only need the values so that you can change the colors and you can tweak them as per to your needs. Okay. There's a big difference between procedural shading for doing baking and using them into your like projects or something. But usually it's important to kind of understand how procedural textures work. This is the basics of it. It's like the starting point of your basic textures, like basic understanding of procedural textures. So now, as you guys understood how these things work, let's get to texturing. Okay, so as this tutorial is getting longer and longer, I'm just going to show you how to make a really cool and easy uh, metal shader. So for metal, what you need to do is that, of course, when you're using metal, you need to have metal, right? You need to know how metal works. So first thing first, let me just into default, so we get like a normal shading. I mean, just pump up the metal so you get metal basic stuff. And then the roughness, you can turn on the roughness with the principal PSTF. And now if we just plug in the edge, and you can color the edge differently. So I'm just gonna go with color ramp. I'm just gonna add a color ramp over here. So I'm just gonna tweak them as per my liking. So for example, if I'm going for let's go for like a brass like metal, like almost like brass metal. So if I'm doing that, so this inverted image, right? Inverted the edges. So now I'm just gonna increase the dark because I don't want it to be super dark, right? If you just keep it super dark, it just look bad. To be like a more reddish, super dark, and then you can just basic edge, right? Basic metal, like it's not the coolest thing that you can see, right? The way that it can improve the edge quality is by either increasing the amount of like almost like that. Then you can play around with things or like the edge, how much bigger the edges you want. With the radius you can increase the edge, like how much big the edge is going to be, right? So if I just go over here, I just increase that a little bit like that. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna mix it with the color, mix color. So I'm just gonna go over here and just gonna add the noise, of course. I'm just gonna add noise, and the noise. Just gonna add the noise. I'm just gonna put the noise on top of this, and then I'm just gonna go to multiply and get like a really nice like variation in your metal, right? Like that. And for the edges also you can do that. For only the edges, you just choose Control Shift and you can kind of connect it directly to your output node, right? It's really cool. Just gonna go over here and just plug that in, and you see that nothing happens. So how about now? You can see some variation, but I can increase the roughness, the detail, and the scale, and you get variation in that, right? And then you can just now leave it like that, and now you can see it. Looks really good. You can push it down. Just go down, you can basically see the edge like that. It's good. And right now you can just take this thing and go into the bump, and you can just plug it into the height, and that will be the normal, and you get like normal issues. Really intense. I'm just gonna dampen it down to basically that much. We need a overall like stuff too, so I'm just gonna drop that like that. I'm just gonna change these settings, like the roughness, the detail again to the way that I want it to be. So just increase this one by that much. I give like this basic like metallic texture, right? And you can plug that thing into the roughness tool. You can change the roughness based on that, and just do some basic stuff now. You can use the ambient occlusion. For the ambient occlusion, I'm just gonna shift it to this. You negate that, and I'm just gonna plug that thing into the principal PSPF to get this nice color. Just gonna use this color map over here to get the basic colors for it. I used just increase that. I'm just gonna change the color to a little bit lighter. That like that. Okay, just increase that. The way that you're gonna add noise is again simple. Mix color. Go to the enter, add noise texture, add, and then go to multiply and change it like that. Okay, reset this detail, and then again just play around with it, and yeah. So this is how basically you're going to be using these nodes. These are going to be the basic nodes that you're going to be using them to make textures. And it's mostly about playing and having practice, just like understanding what does what. And you can just make stuff happen. So it's really not that hard to understand. But then I can just fill it out. I just flip it. Okay. So I need to also one more thing that you can do is you just directly add noise into the distance. And then you get noisy distance looking, which is also pretty cool. You can decrease the scale. Increase it depending upon how you like it. Just keep it like that and get like pretty good like it. Now I'm just gonna go to roughness. Then go to the roughness. And I'm gonna add a glow and then I'm just gonna plug my colors with roughness. Now clip it. Clip it. And that's how I get it. And of course, no metal is super reflective. So the way that like roughness works is that if it's dark, meaning it's going to be super shiny. If it's white, it's gonna be super duper rough. I don't want that. I want it to be super rough. Get this nice looking metal thingy. Right now, I'm gonna mix that both like that. Of course, bump is also important. Just mix them both. Should be mixing them with shader and put that in there. Okay, just take ambient occlusion. This one. And if you use a channel, you know, like decide what's happening. And with that, you guys can make out motion stuff, right? It's a really cool looking metallic texture. Now, of course, it's missing something, and you guys know it. You guys know it. It's too sharp. It's too sharp. So now we just do normal. We just do basic thing, you know, like one of the most basic thing. And the way that you're gonna add travel to these is that you just say add. You can just say vector map, and we just go over here. We'll just select the add it's on that, sorry, it's on add always. The add that, then get back, get to do the bevel the you can do the bevel dance, the bevel dance. Then we just do the same for the other normals. Plop it in there, you get a really beautiful silver metal shader. And let me just add a light, like to make it more good looking. Don't judge my lighting skills, okay? I'm not that great at lighting. That is a lie. I love lighting. Lighting is like can make scene look there. So this is how we can make basic textures. Inside Blender in just few minutes, and you can keep at it, and you can add more like stuff into it, and you can just tweak it, change it. It's all up to you, and it's all up to you. It's fun, and you can do a lot of textures. You can change parameters. You can play around with them, and it's all up to you, man. It's all really up to you. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Oh, wait. I forgot something to tell you guys. On this normal, I'm gonna be using all of these, and I'm gonna be showing how to group them and how to make group nodes, and how to do this complete procedurally, like make group nodes and do cool stuff, and how you can do bunch of these textures in just a few seconds, and how we can make them into group nodes and sell them maybe, and you can make bunch of these procedural textures with ease. And I'm gonna do some complex stuff too, like mixing, matching, all that stuff. So procedural textures are gonna be like for like bunch of videos are gonna come out. So maybe watch those, and yeah, that is it. That is it.